Good morning, everybody. Hi, Roxy, too. I love your guesses about what the mud video was about this morning. I had fun putting that together yesterday, just finding just the right clips. Yeah, mud. Hi, Sue. Good morning to you, too. And hi again, Barb. Yeah, I love your guesses about the mud, washing off mud. God cleanses our body and spirit. Yes, that's all true. Beautiful stuff. I see your comment, Mary. Are we clay that God forms? Well, yes. Mud could be sin, or maybe it's just life. Maybe that's just how it is. So this last weekend, Eric and I found a place to drive to go for a walk. I kind of wanted to just get out into into God's creation and just spend a little time kind of just breathing and walking and being. And I have this problem because I made a big mistake. Well, it wasn't that big of a mistake, but it was a mistake. Every winter, I get to a part of it that I have just had enough of wearing boots or coats or gloves. And if you've known me for a while, you've heard me probably say sometime in the spring, hi, Abigail, you've heard me say, I'm boycotting winter now. I've had enough. So now I'm not wearing a coat. I'm not wearing boots. I'm not wearing gloves. I don't care how cold I get. I'm boycotting winter. Well, so there was another problem with this and in our walk this last weekend, because if you live in Minnesota or if you've ever lived in the north, then you know that this beautiful winter wonderland doesn't go directly to this beautiful spring paradise. Am I right? Something happens in between. Everybody knows this, okay? What happens in between that beautiful winter wonderland and the beautiful spring paradise is just flat out mud. Mud. It is so muddy, muddy mud, like dirty muddy mud. And up here in Minnesota, the mud is often very dark mud, and it does bad things to your shoes and socks and ankles. And sometimes the places on the mud are slippery. Yeah. So anyway, don't worry, I'm okay. But mud. To get from the cold, cold winter to the beauty of spring, sometimes in our lives we have to go through a season of mud. And that could have multiple meanings, multiple things, what mud might mean to you. I'd love for you to share that through the morning here, if what mud might be in your life right now, the season of mud that you're maybe in the middle of. I mean, it could be self-initiated, yes. It could be some trouble you get yourself into. It could also be just, that's just the road just got muddy, you know. So walking out in the mud gets a little messy, and sometimes it even gets really difficult. Hi, Kim. Trudging through mud can be challenging at times. Really difficult, right? But there are some miracles in the mud. And I'm sure most of you know this. And I've been having conversations with so many people about this last muddy year, maybe, if you will, and how this spring is such an enlightening time. Because we've been through so much in the last year, this winter turning to spring someday. Right now that we're in the middle of the rain and mud, we're learning more than we would have learned in the past. I ran across this absolutely beautiful writing, and I'm going to share the link to it in the chat in just a few minutes here. It's called Spring is Mud and Miracle by a guy named Parker Palmer. He couldn't have known what would be going on in 2021, but it seems like he did. Listen to his words, okay? Listen, here we go. I'll wax romantic about the splendors of spring in a moment. But first, there's a hard truth to be told. Before spring becomes beautiful, it's plug ugly, nothing but mud and muck. Anybody relate? He continues, I've walked through early spring fields that will suck the boots right off your feet. Has anybody ever had that happen? Yes. A world so wet and woeful you yearn for the return of snow and ice. And then he continues, of course, there's a miracle inside that muddy mess. Those fields are a seedbed for rebirth. And he draws this comparison. I'd never thought of this or heard this before, but there's a miracle inside that muddy mess. Those fields are a seed bed for rebirth. He draws this comparison between the word humus, which is the word for like the decayed organic matter that feeds the roots of plants. You know, like organic matter. You know what that is? It's whatever is laying around on whatever it is, organic matter. It's the same root word that creates the word humility. And I think that's really interesting. Humus, the decaying organic matter that really is the soil upon which new growth can occur, is related to humility. So it takes a lot of humility for the organic matter to lay down and prepare the soil for what's next. I think that's a very beautiful thought. He says that in that he finds forgiveness, blessing, and grace. He continues, it reminds me that the humiliating events of life, the events that leave mud on my face or make my name mud, can create fertile soil that nourishes new growth. I would say any muddy season can create new growth. He continues, spring begins tentatively, but it advances with a tenacity that never fails to touch me. The smallest and most tender shoots insist on having their way, pressing up through ground that looked only a few weeks earlier as if it would never grow anything again. The crocuses and snowdrops don't bloom for long, but their mere appearance, however brief, is always a harbinger of hope. And from those small beginnings, hope grows at a geometric rate. The days get longer, the winds get warmer, and the world grows green again. Are you longing for this spring? I am. He continues, as my personal winters slowly turn towards spring, I find it hard enough to keep slogging through the mud within. I find it even harder to credit the small harbingers of new life to come. Hard to be hopeful until the outcome is secure. Spring teaches me to look more closely within myself and trust the green tendrils of possibility. The intuitive hunch that may morph into larger insight. Hi, Marge, good morning. The glance or touch that may start to thaw a frozen relationship. The stranger's act of kindness that makes the world seem like home again. I'm wondering if any of you are longing for the world to seem like home again. I wonder if you're longing for this frozen season that we've been in, this weird season we've been in, to just grow into a new day. And I wonder what's happening in your personal lives that is muddy and difficult. I don't want to be too lighthearted about this, because some muddy seasons are so dark and so difficult that, yes, truly, it sucks the boots right off your feet. Some mud is so hard to trudge through that it's hard to even see clearly on the other side of it. I know of some muddy seasons. As this writer talks about frozen relationships and trudging through muddy difficulties like that. I know some muddy seasons of, hi Evelyn, of the word cancer. As soon as it's spoken about your own body, those are some muddy seasons. I know some muddy seasons, worries about a concerning pregnancy, fears, muddy seasons of trying to be truthful with yourself and with others about all kinds of things. Muddy seasons of fears of potential business failure. Muddy seasons of just wondering where the path is in front of you. I'm wondering what your muddy seasons might be. And even more, I'm wondering, what are the little teeny tiny signs, or even big signs, of hope that you're seeing? Where is your hope? What are you seeing that leads you to be hopeful? Oh, I will share, I've seen a lot of things that lead me to be hopeful. Little things, big things, like what's happening at our church right now with Matthew 25 and reigniting the confirmation kids, so they're going to be ready to be confirmed here. And all sorts of energy, actually plans to open the building at some point here, hopefully. All these signs of new growth and new life. But what are the little things? And I'll tell you one. Seeing a friend who has distanced themselves from the church, certainly, but maybe even God, share a scripture. That's a sign of hope to me. Hearing a heart change, a relationship beginning to be restored, little signs of forgiveness and grace. Those are things that bring hope. A new idea, a new reason to start smiling, an insight, if you will, walking in mud and recognizing that mud is mucky and mud is difficult. I'm wondering, where is your mud? Are you in the mud? I think many of us are walking through multiple trails of mud at times. Where are your signs of hope? Because to get from the winter to the spring, sometimes that season of new growth, we really do have to dig in the dirt just a little bit. But hear these words from Psalm 71, 19 through 21. Hear these words. Your glorious righteousness, speaking to God, reaches up to the heavens. No one could ever be compared to you. Who is your equal, O God of marvels and wonders? Even though you've let us sink down with trials and troubles, I know you will revive us again. Are you believing that today? How much do you believe in God's power? How much do you believe in hope? I know you will revive us again, lifting us up from the dust of death. Isn't this a beautiful passage right as we approach Easter here? Give us even more greatness than before. Turn and comfort us once again. Again, this is Psalm 71. Even in the muckiest mud, even when other people in our lives are walking through the muckiest, difficult, sticky, gross mud, the difficult times, never let go of hope, because God will revive us again. God will always bring new life. God will always bring new beginnings. So tell me about your muddy roads. I think it's worth processing a little bit, thinking it through. God, where am I letting mud sink me? Where is mud just happening? What's going on? Why am I anxious in my heart? Why am I troubled? Why am I struggling? We're hearing a lot about people experiencing just massive anxiety, like across the world right now. This long season has become, some people believe, psychologically a little too long. We already knew it was hard, but it's become too long. Maybe it's okay to dig in the mud a little bit and think through, what's causing me to feel so off? But also, what's causing me to sense hope? How, God, are you leading me to walk on top of the mud? How are you leading me forward in this? And then once in a while, we run across a good buddy who's covered in mud too, wouldn't you say? Maybe it's not us. Maybe it's other people. Maybe it's our community that needs help, that needs advocacy. We need to find the people who need help dealing with the mud. Isn't that an adorable picture? To help them see a new day, even in the hardest time of the mud. Maybe once in a while we just need to clean it off. Feel the fresh air again. Go for a walk. And I'm like way metaphorical here today. I hope you're getting the down to earth meaning of seeing clean, fresh times when it's difficult. Just a day, a break. Maybe we can process the difficulties that not only we might be experiencing, but others. Maybe we can see these times as a huge opportunity for growth. So share with me, where are you seeing hope? A relationship restored? The sun coming up behind me even? A new friendship? Are you seeing hope in all these things? Oh, Nancy. A friend diagnosed with Alzheimer's and dementia. Yeah. Oh, so hard. That's some muddy stuff, isn't it? Tell me where you're seeing mud. Tell me where you're seeing hope. Seeing hope in the laughter. I've shared stories about a couple I've been working with who have moved into assisted living, and shortly after, the wife of the couple needed to move to hospice. There's such beautiful signs of hope right now with her. She's discovering that she might have more time than she thought, and she's learning new things, and she's reading, and she is making new friends in this care facility that she's in. She's figuring out how to call people on her cell phone, although sometimes very accidentally. Even in the midst of what could be deep, deep, deep mud, and has times probably felt like deep mud to her, she's finding joy. How's that? So I encourage you. Look for the mud. Process it a bit. Think it through. God, what are you growing new? What are you teaching me? What can I learn? And if you're really, really in the deep mud, God, who are you sending to be with me? How can I find them? And if someone close to you is about to step into mud, or just stepping into mud, or trudging through mud, or enduring through deep, deep mud, God, how are you asking me to help them? How can I listen better? How can I understand more? And if you see an opportunity to help a broad group of people who are maybe dealing with lots of muddy stuff, how can you help serve? How can you help just be the harbinger of spring? Gently, carefully, how can you be a part of those things? I encourage you to pray about these things, think about these things, dig around in the stuff a little bit. I encourage you to reach out and share. If you're in the deep, deep mud, I would love to hear from you. I'll walk alongside you, and many of us here would. This is a beautiful community that gathers. I see Abigail, the doe and yearling running across the yard, across the street, remind me that the next generations keep coming and bringing new energy to clean up the mud. Yes, ma'am, I totally agree with you. I agree. And may it be so. May they maybe clean up some of the messes we've been working on for a long time. So much hope. So much promise. Think today. What helps you see the spring that God is bringing? I'll be praying for you. And I have been through this whole journey. I encourage you to reach out to each other. I encourage you to share and watch for God's spring everywhere, because it will come. We know that God will revive us again, no matter how muddy or mucky it might become. I'm going to show you this video of mud again this morning instead of the announcements at the end, because maybe take a few minutes and see if you see yourself in any of this. Take care, everybody, and much love to all of you. Oh, I see Todd. Sorry, I got to slow down here. Yeah, not fearing the mud, living in literal mud. Yep. God's grace. I hear a brown thrush in our backyard this morning. That's beautiful. Practicing forgiveness cleans out the mud. Amen, Roxy. Yes, it does. Lots of other things. Beautiful words, you guys. Keep sharing. This video is about 5 minutes long. Keep sharing. Much love to all of you. Take care. Reach out if you're looking for help. Reach out if you're ready to help. Take care, everybody. I hope you have a really, really great day today. Much love to you. May God bless your every step, whether you're on clear ground or muddy, muddy, muddy muck. Take care.